Whatever I may have said about President Trump pales in comparison to what J.D. Vance, Lindsey Graham, and others have said about him, but we are all on the same team now.
It's official. Mitch McConnell, the Senate's human screensaver, has absolutely had it with J.D. Vance's cosplay as a Revolutionary War general on Facebook Live. Now McConnell is actively calling out Vance's two-faced behavior on live TV with zero hesitation. He's exhausted with JD siding with Trump in the most inefficient way possible for his own interests, all the while berating the president behind his back. You can't even say that he's just biased. This man has proven several times that he'll criticize whoever's wrong and praise them when they do the right job. His relationship with our least favorite Home Alone character is just one example. While McConnell hasn't exactly chucked a chair across the Senate floor or called JD a Walmart philosopher, yet, make no mistake, the man has been solidly, repeatedly, and publicly dunking on Vance's views, and he's doing it the Mitch way, with the dry, emotionless precision of a grandpa silently changing the TV channel when you start talking about NFTs.
Well, look, I support the ticket. I also support Ukraine, and I'm going to be arguing no matter who gets elected president.
Just take Ukraine, for instance. While America's #1 hillbilly continues yelling, "America first," into a figurative podcast mic from his garage, Mitch McConnell is going for real aid packages to support America's allies and keep Russia in check. Really, it's like watching a chess grandmaster play the board while J.D. Vance tries to eat the pieces. McConnell doesn't just disagree with Vance, nor does he engage in childish spats with him. He's simply publicly disproving Mr. Vice President's ideas with policy and poise. No doubt in the sluggish yet decisive theater show of Washington, Mitch McConnell's rebukes are way beyond J.D. Vance's league. Where Mr. VP basically flails around like an overzealous hall monitor, Mitch executes measured moves that leave no room for second guessing, unlike the entire Trump 2.0 team. But hey, if you're enjoying watching J.D. Vance get cooked by the slowest roast in politics, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment telling us your favorite J.D. gets humbled moment.
It's going to be up to them to come to an agreement and stop this brutal conflict. It's not going anywhere, Brett. It's not going to end anytime soon.
To put things into perspective, you just have to see for yourself how tone-deaf J.D. Vance's take is on the war in Ukraine. How can the literal vice president of a country that has first-hand experience in facing Russia's cruelty even say something so apathetic? The man talks about Russian aggression the way your uncle talks about expired coupons at Costco, like it's mildly annoying, not literally a global crisis. It's insane how we're seeing the day the representative of the United States, after having once fought a Cold War and won, brush off a full-blown invasion like it's a scheduling conflict. It's like watching someone stand in front of a burning house and argue about sprinkler placement. Vance doesn't just miss the point, he folds it into a paper airplane and launches it straight into a wall.
I think for the Ukrainians, yes, of course, they're angry that they were invaded, but are we going to continue to lose thousands and thousands of soldiers over a few miles of territory this or that way?
The fact that he's summing up the gravity of the situation as a few miles of territory just goes to show his intellectual level, which likely can be bested by a first grader now. It's no wonder that even Mitch McConnell, a man so emotionally consistent he could replace your thermostat, has become increasingly vocal in his own, more politically aware and humane stance on Ukraine, which is really just the vague sense that maybe we shouldn't let authoritarian regimes bulldoze sovereign countries. Honestly, at this point, J.D. Vance's sheer absurdity could force a rock to evolve into a sentient being, file for citizenship, and then move to escape the cringe. Mitch here may be as cold as an Appalachian winter, but even he is warming up enough to deliver the point that, no thanks, JD. We feel you, Mitch. The bar is in the Earth's core, and somehow JD's brought a shovel.
These are the closest allies and partners who worked hand in glove with America, bought American equipment, taken America's lead.
The difference becomes particularly glaring, even more so than the radiation Trump happily gazed at back in his first disastrous presidency, probably thinking it would give him superpowers. When we hear McConnell talk about the Ukraine crisis, say what you will about the man. And we often do, but his understanding of global power dynamics is like a Michelin star steak next to J.D. Vance's dehydrated conspiracy meatloaf. McConnell doesn't need to scream "America first" with a bald eagle gif in the background. He calmly explains how abandoning Ukraine would signal to every autocrat on Earth that the U.S. is open for looting. He's repeatedly warned that if America pulls back now, the vacuum will be filled by regimes that don't just dislike freedom. They blacklist the word. It's not about being the world's policeman. It's about not handing Putin the keys and saying, don't scratch the paint.
And immigration.
I mean, I'm under no illusions that Putin is a nice guy. I don't think he is a nice guy, but at the end of the day, what's happening on our own border is so much more important than what's happening 6,000 miles away. And I think our leaders have to accept that we can't police every single border all across the world, especially when we can't even control our own situation in this country.
And while Vance is busy pretending that foreign entanglements are some newfangled liberal trap, McConnell, with all the patience of a turtle who's seen 12 Cold Wars, explains that strategic alliances are national defense. His years of experience shine through, especially when he lays out the cold, boring, undeniable facts. The kind J.D. Vance's MAGA fans scroll past because there aren't enough emojis. McConnell knows that letting Ukraine fall isn't just about losing an ally. It's about losing credibility, deterrence, and the last shred of America's post-Swat-212 foreign policy spine.
Russia wins, America loses. Russia wins, America loses.
McConnell's wisdom especially announces itself when he says, Russia wins, America loses. This line of only 4 words holds more power than the full-length novels that Vance and company spout every time they get the stage. And that's the difference. J.D. Vance gives you tinfoil sermons on globalism from a lawn chair. McConnell gives you a foreign policy roadmap carved with decades of navigating real-world chaos without even needing a filter or a TikTok dance.
Well, number one, the president's been very clear he doesn't want to tolerate a nuclear-armed Iran. And I don't know what Mr. Colby has written in the past, but I'll say that every single person that we nominate to a position is going to have at least one thing that they disagree with the president about. That's okay.
When J.D. Vance says something is okay, it's usually a red flag. Like, it's okay if my cat drives the car, or it's okay that my dentist is also my therapist. So naturally, when he defended Trump's nominee Elbridge Colby, a guy who disagrees with Trump on letting Iran play nuclear Mad Libs, Vance shrugged it off with a classic. It's okay that he disagrees with Trump on a nuclear Iran. Oh, is that how it works? It's okay that your guy wants to write fan fiction about foreign policy while holding a literal match over the Middle East? Cool, cool, cool.
And Republican Mitch McConnell, he voted against confirming Tulsi Gabbard. He cites what he calls Gabbard's alarming lapses in judgment.
Meanwhile, Mitch McConnell, a man who's been in the Senate since the earth cooled, heard that and decided, yeah, we're not doing that. He voted against Colby's nomination like someone swatting a fly with 40 years of geopolitical experience, the same way he voted against Tulsi Gabbard. And he didn't even have to yell, he just explained, like a disappointed AP government teacher, that bringing people like Gabbard on board was, not helpful to preventing World War III. And how did J.D. Vance respond to this careful, reasoned vote? With the intellectual grace of a guy arguing with a Waffle House jukebox? He tweeted that McConnell's move was pure political pettiness, because nothing says grown-up politics like calling the Senate Minority Leader petty for not hiring your unqualified foreign policy pen pal.
4 years down the road, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, he saw around corners that very few other people were seeing around. That doesn't mean he's always right about every issue.
This is peak J.D. Vance behavior. Show up to a national security conversation with a kazoo, and then scream, "Deep State," when no one hands you the nuclear codes. Let's be clear, Mitch McConnell didn't vote against Colby because of some backroom grudge. He issued a full statement, explaining why Colby's approach to nuclear deterrence sounded like it was lifted from the script of Dr. Strangelove. McConnell took the time to lay out the strategic risk of putting someone like Colby in charge of defense policy. In VP Hillbilly's world, Colby and Gabbard being questionable is peachy because they're loyal to Trump's billionaire agenda. So anything's fine, as long as it's wrapped in a MAGA hat and shipped via Truth Social. Who needs consistency or competence when you can just slap Trump adjacent on your resume and ride the Grift Express straight to Senate hearings?
Over the past week since the debate, Trump and Vance have been advancing this internet rumor of Haitian migrants eating pets in Springfield, Ohio. The governor has concerns about this, so does the mayor. Should they stop saying that?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the presidential contest. Alex?
McConnell, in his classic cold-blooded style, isn't playing those games. and he's definitely not playing around with state matters. And when he votes no, he does it with the precision of a man who's had lunch with more world leaders than J.D. Vance has had functioning takes. You see, one man's pettiness is another man's job description, and Mitch is still on the clock. If Vance being put in his place by seasoned leaders is up your alley, there's no way you won't enjoy our other video on John Oliver.